Mm-hmm. Drop some frames, Time Warner. Drop some frames. Hi. Time Warner. All right, it looks like we're back. So today we're going to be working on a fairly large pile of stuff that I have not had the time to get to over the past few weeks. So today we're going to be starting off with an 820-3209, a certified antique, and see why this is not turning on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give the board a little visual look over under the microscope, see if anything stands out as being overly screwed up. All right, let's get started with the top side of the board here and see what it is we see, if anything at all. So next week I got myself a phone call with a YouTube representative that had called me. So I don't know if any of you noticed if you follow Social Blade, but YouTube has been shoving this 2-year-old video I did down the throat of everybody that watches YouTube, and I don't know why, and maybe that's what triggered one of their representatives to call me and ask if I want to talk about analytics, this, that, and the other, but we're going to be having next week our first meeting on advertiser-friendly content. So it's probably the wrong time for me to release a 40-minute video with my opinions on slut-shaming. I don't know. Maybe not the best time, but yeah. Advertiser friendliness. Advertiser friendliness. I can't wait to hear what it is they got to say about that. My one question was, just out of curiosity, since YouTube is going with this advertiser-friendly thing recently, why is it that one of the most pushed videos, like the top 5, is something titled IT Specialists Can Suck My Dick? It was just a question I figured I should ask. And a question that, of course, had no reasonable answer. It was funny at some point in the phone call. It was pretty funny. Maybe the jizz was, maybe that little piece of pube over there was keeping it from turning on. But anyway, it was funny because at some point in the call, she's like, oh yeah, this video has insane viewer retention compared to everything else you've done. Over 50% of the people watch the entire thing. That's great. Let's see which video it is. And it's titled IT Specialist Can... I'm not reading that. I mean, I couldn't help myself. I had to laugh a little bit. I'm not reading that. But, I mean, it was a serious question, like, out of curiosity. Hey, you know, with this whole ad boycott thing, why is that what's showing up at the top? Who the fuck knows? Anyway, as you can see, this board is clean. It doesn't really show that... It doesn't really look like there's any cancer on this. So we're going to just do what we do on these, which is go through my list of power rails, and we're going to see if any of the power rails are not showing up the way that they are supposed to show up on this board. So let's just get to measuring and hope that it's not missing PM Sleep S4L, because missing PM Sleep S4L, after 2 weeks of running the store with just Jason and I, that can suck it. Okay, so let's go up here. Now, which rail do we need first? We need PP3V42, so we get a light. And as you can see, we got an orange light on that charger. And since we got an orange light in that charger, there's no need to check PP3V42 because the one-wire circuit's working. And if you don't know how the one-wire circuit works, you should watch any one of my number of videos on the one-wire circuit and how that works. So next up, we're going to check PP bus G3 hot. That's supposed to be 8.4 volts. And as we can check over here on the fuse by the battery, we'll be able to see if we have PP bus G3 hot. And when I measure, we get what fucking multimeter? We get 8.4, which is exactly what we need. How do I get rid of ads? Ads are annoying. Pay $10 a month to YouTube Red. Let's see. The repair graphics card. I do not. Everyone's back from vacation, luckily, so I get my life back. What is PM Sleep S4L for? PM Sleep S4L is a signal that's going to wake this machine from the S4 state, and it's going to start all my S3 rails. Love your videos. Thank you to Jason Barney. All right, so now I know that PP18V5 DCN is there. I don't got to check that, because if I didn't have DCN, I wouldn't have anything else. PP3V42, we know that that's there because we got a light. PPVRTC G3 out. Let's check that one and see if that is our culprit. Is that our culprit? Is that what's missing from this board? Let's see. We can check that down here on this capacitor. Do you really think copper-clad aluminum wires are that bad? Everyone seems to say they're shit. I carry the same opinion, but it's not so bad. I don't understand the question. Is there a specific method of using them that people don't like or whatever? What should I buy to replace an IC? Some soldering equipment. I got a bunch linked in the description, and I have a bunch of reviews of different stuff on the channel. All right, so let's see. PPVRTC. I should be able to check that over here. And thank you to Samjora. Gets 3.3 volts, so it ain't that. All right, PP5VS5. Let's see if PP5VS5 is what it is. PP5V underscore S5. And I can find that under the TPS 51980 right up here. And let's see what I get over here. PP5ES5 is present and not power cycling. PP5V sus. Advertisers envelop and straight up lie when they need to. Mention that to the YouTube partner manager. I sure shall. It's like, it's funny, because I mean, it's a nice person. It's just, it's one of those things where it's kind of like human-y. Not human, but, you know, I was joking the other day about how I gave her a Turing test, because I still don't believe that, I believe that humans work at Google the same way that I believe in the Microsoft Surface existing, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, I'm still not 110% convinced that it is indeed a human. All right, so as you can see here, we do not get PP5V sus. And I'm pretty sure, who am I kidding, PP5ES3 ain't going to be there either. PP5ES3 is going to be up here, and that means, where is that? Let's see. It's to the right of the SMC, up here, and 0 volts. Lame. That sucks. You know a company that fixes motherboard sockets? I don't. But just because I don't do it doesn't mean others don't. So what I would suggest you do is ask in the chat and see if anybody here is willing to take on that job for you. Because the thing is, it requires, like, BGA sockets requires a really expensive machine, and it's something that most people don't want to spend much on. So, and there's a lot of risk of destroying something anytime you're doing BGA rework. Not a lot, but there's risk, you know. So it's not something that I imagine is got to be taken up by a lot of people, at least in the U.S. Microsoft Surface is fake news. Indeed it is. All right, so PP5ES3 is missing. PP5E sus is missing. Let's see where PP5E sus is supposed to come from. PP5E sus. On this antique of a motherboard, where does this come from? You're going to come from PP5ES5, P5E sus, something. All right, so first thing to do here is let's see if it's being created. So let's go over how this thing over here is going to work. So this is a P-channel MOSFET. This means that when the voltage in the gate is lower than the source, it will turn on. When the voltage in the gate is equal to or higher than the source, it's not going to turn on. And I agree with you, Tarman. And so how are we going to give make the gate lower? Well, it looks like here the gate has a path to ground. If this N-channel MOSFET opens, the N-channel MOSFET's going to open when the voltage in the gate is higher than the voltage in the source. So we need to lower the voltage in the gate of this MOSFET, which happens when P5V 3V3 sus enable is present. Let's see where that comes from, and let's also see if it's present on my board. That's going to come from PM sus enable, which is going to come from this chip, which comes when SMC batlow L is present, along with PM sleep sus L. So let's check out the U7940 area and see if SMC batlow L and PM sleep sus L are present. So now we're going to go to U7940. U7940. And check pins. One. Oh man. Yawn. SMC batlow L on pin 1. Tired. The YouTube rep should have to face your chat room. Yeah. Let's see. Talk about that being. Let's say that that's advertiser friendly. Let's see. So under here. Oh, tired, but must fix. Got my 3 volts. Must fix. And PM sleep sus L is going to be over here. PM sleep sus. L is missing. PM sleep sus L is missing. PM sleep sus L is going to come from probably the PCH. PM sleep sus L comes from the PCH. Lame. Lame as shit. And if we look around this motherboard, you'll see that it looks clean. It looks so clean. We can check for things like corroded traces near the BIOS, which can cause things like this to happen. Maybe something like this. Not really, though. That's a fine-looking trace, yeah. This trace did nothing wrong. That trace did nothing wrong. We can... So if we look up through here... You'll see... Okay. Okay. Yeah, this can suck it. Fail. Yeah, this is a very clean looking board that died. Next. Next. How about that crazy ass girl that uploaded her dying sister's last moment to Instagram? Anybody that's in my chat who thinks that she should not be punished because she's just young and just made a mistake and this is a sign of the times or this is just culture, please leave my chat and please unsubscribe. Personal accountability, personal responsibility. You drive recklessly and you kill someone, fuck you. You drive recklessly, kill someone, film them dying live, double fuck you. Like it's one of those things where, you know, people keep talking about raising the age for, you know, for adult prison punishment and things like that. And I'm against mandatory minimums in the drug business. I'm against a lot of the things that people are incarcerated for long periods of time. That being said, what I'm really against is this complete destruction of personal accountability and personal responsibility. I remember what it was like to be 13, 15, 17, 19. I remember what it was like to be 6 years old. And let me tell you that kids are not as stupid as people make them out to be. Nor are teenagers. It's not like you were 13, you should not be held accountable for the fact that you made a choice to kill someone for no good reason. Or like, I don't agree with that because I remember being a kid. I wanted a lot of the rights that adults had. I was willing to take on the responsibility that adults had. And I know that as a kid that I wasn't, it's not like you're this complete mentally disabled person until you reach the age of 25. You know, fuck you for doing stupid shit and fuck you for making teenagers look bad. And fuck this board for having a most likely dead PCH on yeah, next. Next machine, because I ain't fucking with that one right now. Too tired. All right. Next board. Oh, I mean, who the fuck does that? Like, you're going to, because like, oh, look, I'm Snapchatting. You crash. The fuck? Keep your eyes on the road or don't fucking drive. If you want to do this and Snapchat and well, crap while you're in the car, then take a fucking Uber like a normal person. Or at the very least, drive in the middle of a deserted field and you be the only one for miles in any direction and be the only one in the car so that when you drive your way off a cliff or some shit, you're the only one that dies, you know? Frame drop. Yeah, that's Time Warner for you. So now I know it's not just Restream, it is indeed Time Warner. Let's lower bitrate more to... Accidents are preventable. Damn straight. I'm sick and tired. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has accidents. Some mistakes and accidents you're just not fucking allowed to do. So, for example, if an employee ships a customer, you know, like a TPS 51980 instead of a TPS 51125, okay, slap on the wrist. They ship 20 of them instead of one, write up. Employee ships $10,000 device to wrong country, fired. You know, like, there are mistakes and accidents that you're just not allowed to have. You're just not allowed to make. You just can't do it. It's like, sorry. Fuck you. No redemption for you. Some shit you're just not going to come back from. And some stuff, I mean, like, you're a grown-ass woman. You knew what you were doing. GTFO. She has a donation page. That makes me sick. That makes me sick. Okay. Who's making fun of Ayn Rand in my chat? This already works. This already works. That's boring. I love when that happens. The amount of stuff, the amount of return shipping that we bill for stuff that people send in that just works for no reason. I mean, I guess it's good news for them. Yoink. Let's grab something that's going to be fun. Here we go. This is going to be more fun. Let's see, who is Zach Conkle and why is he deleting everything? All right, we'll go through that later. Editing streams, yep. You share the profit from the sale of my last repaired MacBook. Thanks for all the knowledge. Well, I'm glad you fixed something. I hope you fix a lot more. How do you get your schematics since they are from a commercial source? Dark corners of the internet, mostly. Dark corners of the internet. There's somebody in the front who sounds incredibly annoying. I really wish I had closed the door before doing this. I don't know if you can hear them squawking in the background, since I have an omnidirectional microphone. But there is some squawking going on. I'm so glad everybody's back from vacation. Squawking. Oh my God, this has an MCP. What the hell? Who the fuck let this here? Do I see an MCP89U? I do. Oh my Jesus. That is an MCP89U. Wow, this is an 8202838. 8202838. What the fuck is this doing here? My phone probably has more processing power than this. Okay, open. Do I even have a schematic for this, or is it decaying? The pages in my PDF are turning yellow. This shit's so old. All right, how do we turn this thing on? Yes. It's your favorite Apple product. I lied the other day. I said I've never owned an Apple product, and I lied. I actually have a set of rechargeable AA batteries that somebody bought me from Apple.com that I use for this very microphone transmitter. So there is an Apple product that I have indeed used and that I do indeed own. I didn't pay for it. I wouldn't have, not the first place I would have chosen to get my batteries from, but hey. Yes, Steve can deal with squawking. Oh, damn straight. Thank God. Thank God. For 2 weeks, I had to be a people person. Just never again. I had to be a people person to everybody. Oh. Surprised I still have a store. Wait, really? This is just a keyboard? This is... Wait, this... What the fuck? I didn't do anything. It turns on. Yeah, let's plug the battery back. Am I losing my mind? Wow. See, I usually take the time to cherry pick stuff that I know is going to tell an interesting story when I do a repair video. I know, you can call me out and go, fake news, fake video. But I really do. Like, I usually, when I'm not busy, I take time to do that. Because this is boring as shit. It's like, I'm showing you things that already work. There's really, it's lame. But wow, what did I do? Yeah, this already works. No water either. The fuck? Why are people giving me working stuff? Stop testing my conscience, man. Please stop testing my conscience. This is definitely a test of my conscience, and I will succeed. I am not a rip-off artist. I will not scam you. Someone said she was used to getting bad mouth. Her work had given her a lot of hate. In my opinion, it was for good reason that she received such hate. Who are we talking about? Are we still talking about the person that killed their sister driving their car off of, who then live streamed it? Kind of curious. Or are we talking about something else at this point? I almost kind of want to stop the stream to hear what this person in the front is raging about. Oh, I wish I could record that right now. You know what I find pretty interesting is that there are a lot of people that think that like I'm this really like the nicest guy in the world and that everybody else here is an asshole. But what I find interesting is like sometimes people will walk back and say, "Do you know this person?" and I'll go, "No." Or this person wants you to do this for free. What do you think? And I'll go, "No." And then they'll say, "I know Lewis would do that for me. I know he would." And like and then they get painted as like the bad guy because I'm saying no. And they think that I'm this angel, but they have no idea that I'm like they're walking back here to say, "What do you think of this?" And I'll go, just no. I think that's what's happening right now. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong. There's this one company that wants me to do a lot of stuff, but they don't want to pay. They want me to do a lot of IT stuff, and it's interesting. It's a funny story, and might as well. Let's see. Hopefully, this one actually doesn't work, so this isn't just Lewis babbling into a camera all night, but. There's this one person that wanted me to set up their infrastructure, right? And we set up their infrastructure, and they never pay. They paid for like a good portion of it, but they didn't pay for the rest of it. So we washed our hands with it and said, bye-bye. So then somebody else bought that company, and now they want repairs on the infrastructure that was never paid for to begin with, but they want to pay a piecemeal rate for it. And what I find, it's like if I go into a store and I take a MacBook, and then I bring it back there because I break the screen, I can't pay at the Apple store like $300 to replace my screen because I never paid them for the MacBook to begin with, right? And I don't know. What are your thoughts on that kind of stuff? Like a business gets a lot of free crap because they didn't pay for a contract, and then somebody buys that business and then wants repair on or maintenance on those systems from the company that put it together, but that was never paid for to begin with. Like, what do you do there? And it's not like I want to be an asshole. It's, I don't want to be like, it's just, for stuff where I know that I'm going to walk over there for something that's simple and it's going to wind up taking 4 to 5 hours. I just don't want it to be some setup where like I show up, I spend 4 hours fixing a problem and it's like, oh, here's $100. Is that okay? It's like, no, that ain't okay. Fuck that. That ain't okay. No. Great content. Keep it up. Thank you. Better squawking than screeching. So much frame drop. What can I say, man? I use Time Warner. Okay, let's lower the bit rate even more. 4 megabit per second. What a shit show. What's the other one's name? One of my cats is Blackberry, and the other one is Mr. Clinton. Because he's a rapist. So the person that had Mr. Clinton got rid of him because she had 4 or 5 cats, and Mr. Clinton would try to hump them, and all the other cats would say no. So then eventually she locked him in a room, and then he would just do nothing but hump the dolls all day. So since he was, and I asked her, why are you getting rid of him? And she says, he won't stop trying to have sex with all my other animals, and it's very disturbing. So I named him Mr. Clinton. I thought it was a fitting name. All right. If this one turns on, I'm going to scream. Like, this will just be bullshit at this point. If this one turns on, too, I'm just going to give up and stop streaming. Okay, it's dead. Thank God. Something that I can actually repair on camera. Stick to your guns and don't let people take the expletive. Yeah. And honestly, I don't really like. I don't want to be in this general IT business shit anymore either. Because I used to do this stuff, you know, like phone system for small office, file service for small office, or like phone system for business of 100 to 150 people. But it's like, I mean, I get why nobody wants to pay for that shit anymore, because you can just pay for cloud services, even though you pay more. Like, you pay more in the long run for cloud services than you do for a system you build, but then you have more instant access to tech support that knows exactly what's going on. The liability is with one company, which is better. It's not like call this company or call that company, or it's Voice Pulse's fault versus it's the IT company's fault versus it's our fault. So, I mean, I get why most companies are changing that model, but I really, like, I just don't want to put a lot of effort into that stuff anymore. And you combine that with the fact that people don't really want to pay for a lot of the traditional IT stuff anymore, and then you combine that with the fact that I was never really fully paid to set up said system that we're talking about here in the first place, and you get squawking. Lots of squawking. Like, Steve he's just a fucking boss. Like, he never, you know, he never gets irritated. His face never changes. He's always smiling. He's always real. He always finds a way, and this is the most important thing. He always finds a way when people try to take their problems and make them yours to make sure and make it very clear that the problem exists with the other person. And he'll spend hours and hours with someone if necessary just to always ensure, like, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But if it's somebody else's problem, it always sticks with them. It's like he's you can't find people like that without doing a lot of work and investigating. It comes along like like a few times in a lifetime, maybe once in a lifetime. But people like Steve, I mean, they're just, I swear, like, he should be you know, he should be the service writer at some Bentley dealership someday, making like $350,000 a year to deal with upscale car customers. That, I mean, it's just, people like that you don't find everywhere. Because, like, the thing is, Steve and I, it comes down to something that happened with my first boss as well. There were 2 partners in this business, progressive music. And, like, one of the owners could say something, and people would want to sue. And the other owner could say the same thing, and he'd have a $20 tip. It's like the same thing. Like, Steve and I could say the exact same thing, except I'll say it in 10 seconds, and somebody will file a DCA claim. But he'll say it in 10 minutes, and they'll be shaking his hand or giving him a hug and leaving a $20 tip. And we're saying the exact same thing. And we're saying it with the exact same inflection. It's not even like I'm saying it like, no, or he's saying, no. It's like the exact same inflection. It's just if I say it, people want to shoot me. But when he says it, people want to hug him. And it's just, yeah. I gave up on that stuff a long time ago. But for 2 weeks, I had to pretend I was him. And it was very fun. It's like fun to play a character, but now that's over. It's time to go back to being the grumpy bench technician that everybody knows and loves. All right. Turn on, I fucking dare you. I will break you in half right now if you turn on in front of camera. You piece of shit! You fucking piece of shit! I give up! I give up! What the fuck am I supposed to do? What the fuck? Wait a second. The fuck? What the Okay, I gotta start preparing these better. I'm sorry. I tried. You know what? I fucking tried. Again, usually what I do is I take the stack. What I do with these streams is I make 2 or 3 measurements. Not enough that I'm gonna know exactly what it is, but enough that I have an idea of what may be wrong so that I can create a good storyline. And all these videos, even the live streams, I try to create something with a good storyline. And there's no storyline here. It's like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Like, so you guys are fucking with me. Somebody took all the shit out of my incoming and replaced it with good before I started the stream. Tiro says you're housing a rapist. Oh. New owners have to establish a new contract with you, fairly short in your original contract. You must have had to renegotiate with new owners. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they don't even want to pay that. So call me nuts. At this point, if we're going to do any type of managed IT, and by managed IT, I mean that you can call at 7 in the morning, you can call at 12 at night. Whenever something goes down or you have a problem, you can call and expect somebody to be there in an hour. For that level of service, you have to be paying like a minimum of $1,500 a month at this point. And you know, I think that's like the minimum for it to be worth it. Like if I'm going to get a call when I'm at a party or I'm at a wedding or I'm watching TV or I'm petting my kitty and I need to stop petting my kitty because somebody called and said, you need to come here because this system is down, I need to be getting like $1,500 a month from that client and know that that's going to come in whether they have 5 problems that month or whether they have 0. And this is something that maybe this video could just be about that this concept in business rather than be about board repair, because clearly I have no boards to fix. But there's this concept of momentum in business that I feel is very important, where what you do, I mean, you have to think about what you're going, how many ways can you make money off of what it is you're doing? So for example, let's say that I spend 15 hours to figure out how to fix this board, and for those 15 hours, I make $325. That's not worth it, because I have 4 employees to pay, I have rent, I have insurance, I have taxes. That's not worth it. But if I spend 12 hours or 15 hours to figure out how to fix this, and then after I figure it out, I can apply that knowledge elsewhere, thank you for the W's with the bars through them. I appreciate it, right? So, like, can I apply this? See, once I have that, then I can apply that information to the 6,000 of this board that are going to come in over the next 2 to 3 years. So that 15 hours that I put in to make that $300 is not wasted, right? And that's momentum. You're going to gain momentum over time as you keep moving. Just like you know those old train cars. They start off slow, and then they get to moving their 40 or 60 miles an hour. But they start off slow. You got to build momentum. If you're constantly starting and stopping and starting and stopping, you're not going to build that momentum. So I'm at a point in my late 20s where everything I work on, I'm doing it to build momentum, right? So like when I'm selling chips, I put a lot of effort into cataloging all those chips that you could find at the site below. And no, it's not worth it to me to buy a single chip for $1 to then sell it for $1.50. That is not worth the time. But if I can do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, then it's worth the time. It's the same thing, you know, it's like when somebody brings in, let's say, I had somebody bring me in a controller for a boat motor, and they're like, well, I see you fix electronics and figure it out on stream all the time. Why won't you do it for this? And I say, because you're the only one that's ever going to bring me a controller for a boat motor. So I spend 10 hours figuring out how this works. First repair, not worth it. The 6,000 after it, very worth it. You bring me a controller to a boat motor, I spend 5 hours on that. Like, I'm never going to get that time back. There's no momentum there. And so it's important for businesses to focus on doing things where they are going to be developing momentum. It's like if I go to my favorite burrito place and I tell them, I will give you $150 to make me truffled gnocchi, it's still not worth it. Even if I say I'll give you $150 because they're going to have to retool their entire operation to make me a dish of truffled gnocchi. And also, it's going to slow down the chefs and the people preparing the food to the point where the like 50 people that come in every 10 minutes are going to have to wait. So you're going to have 50 and then 100 and then 150 unhappy customers that would have been willing to give you 15 or 20 bucks a meal. 15 or let's say 50 unhappy customers times 20. It's a lot more than 150 I would have offered the truffled gnocchi. it breaks down the entire system, and it may just not be worth it. So there are times where you may wonder, why is it that I feel weird about saying no to this? Someone is offering me money for something, and I'm saying no. It's something that I can do. It's like, you know it's something you can do. You know that it's enough, that the amount of time you're going to spend on it, it's kind of maybe worth the money for, but you have this thing in your mind where you kind of want to say no and you don't know why. It's because of momentum. Momentum is very important. And it reminds me of this one church that I was supposed to wire a long time ago. So like 2009, 2010, I redid the audio in this church. You couldn't hear what the pastor was saying. It sounded just god-awful. And they didn't have a lot of money for renovations at the time. So I said, you know, let's say I can recoil, not recoil, but you know when you take a tweeter and like the tweeter disconnects from the cap and you can kind of like unwind it and cut a little piece off and then attach it. I'm not saying it's going to sound the same, but it's going to sound better than having no fucking tweeter. So, you know, I did that. I fixed a lot of their systems. I fixed the crossovers in these speakers. It's just stuff that no sane person is going to do unless they're broke and have no time on their hands, which I did. And I charged them, in addition to installing a mixer and hanging everything, something like $800 or $1,000. It was a joke. It was like very, very cheap. And then, but they were going to get money later to do this big project. And then they wound up getting something like $500,000 in financing to do the sound for 3 new churches. And they wanted me to do it. And I wasn't going to get to keep that. Don't get me wrong. Most of that's going to be parts. I probably would have got to keep like $50,000 or $80,000 of it. But that was 4 or 5 years later in 2014. And I said no. And if I had to do it again, I would say no again. Because I was just starting to upload regularly to YouTube. I was just starting to get into firing the person that I was using for all my board repairs and say, I never want to send them a board again. It's not like I'm going to send them the hard and keep it easy. I'm never going to send them shit again. I wanted, and I was sitting here all day, all night getting this stuff ready. I was hiring new people. And it's like, and the reason I did that is because there's momentum here. Like, I'm going to set up that one set of churches, and realistically speaking, the way the music business and all that crap is going, and I'm not going to get that again, right? It's not like I'm going to be, you know, the flying around the world to set up cathedrals. This was very clearly a one-time thing, and I probably would have made $50,000. And I clenched my teeth when I had explained why it is I couldn't do it. I'd be happy to, you know, give the plans that we had discussed in 2010 to somebody else, but I can't do it. And the person was pissed off, reasonably so, because they were willing to spend a good amount of money. Like, again, this was not lowballing. This was an amount of money that almost anybody in chat would have been very happy to get for the amount of work involved. And I said no, because I didn't want to interrupt what I was doing. That it was going to make me less money in the short term, but 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, over 20 years, I would have weighed way more than that $50,000. I just didn't want to stop it. And looking back in 2017 to my decision in 2014, I am very happy I made the decision that I did. It's really important to figure out how you can build on what you're doing and to stick to doing things that you can build upon rather than getting distracted by all these small things. Because people are going to ask you to do this small kind of crap all the time, or just stuff that's really different than what you do. And if it's going to take away from what you're working on, you just can't do it anymore. And like, I'm finding that with IT. I really am finding, because again, there was a time where if I did a really good job setting up some small business infrastructure, that they would refer me to other businesses, and then I get more money from all the other businesses that I set up infrastructure for. But as this kind of goes downhill, as standard or IT as we know it goes downhill, and let's face it, it is. You know, you have all these cloud services, all the devices are getting way easier to use. You don't need us anymore. You share files with Google Drive. Use Google Cloud Print. You don't need a fucking $10,000 print server just so that an office of 10 people can have a printer. It's like IT as we know it is slowly kind of going away and becoming this converged thing that it just doesn't require that you pay that a business of 8 people pay a $1,500 a month maintenance contract for anymore. So as I realize that there's no more momentum, I'm deciding that I'm no longer interested in taking on the stuff that I used to be. And that's fine. You're going to shave away stuff that you used to do, and you're going to move into new things. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling there. Anyway, my thoughts on that. Another one that already works. So I'm going to take out one last board, and after that, I genuinely fucking give up. Because if the next one in the pile already works, then I'll know that 4chan broke into my shop at night. And and I hope, yeah, this is just, all right, let's see. What does this one do? If I see an Apple logo, I'm going to fucking scream. Got the V says Bill Clinton is a rapist, Infowars.com. Eh, can't disagree with that. Let's see. When you weren't looking, your employees filled your pile with working machines. Someone says Bill Clinton is not a rapist. Citation needed. Let's see. Citation necessary. Thank you to Freeware Fan. What are some tips for regaining momentum? Focus on the stuff that where there's multiple ways. How do I put this? Like, try to work on stuff where there's multiple forms of revenue for whatever you're doing. So, for example, like with board repair, I can fix the board, and that's one stream of revenue. Once I learn what I learned to fix that board, I can then use it to fix 1,000 others easily. So that's a way that the time that I spent doing one thing is then going to help me with other. No, let me rephrase that. Let's rewind. Figure out how to make what you do with your time pay back in many separate ways. So, for example, if I learn how to repair the boat motor controller, whatever the fuck, that's a one-time transaction. So that time that I spend is only good for one payment. But if I learn how to repair a board that I'm going to get 6,000 of, then that one piece of time that I put into that will then pay me back 6,000 times. If I then film that, then I can upload that to YouTube. And, you know, yeah, granted, it's like little crumbs and whatnot, but still, those crumbs add up over time to a muffin or a burrito that I get every single day. So that's another way it pays back. Then I can use those videos to then sell little chips and components and stuff. That's another way it pays back. Then I can use that knowledge on a forum. That's another way. You know, it goes on and on and on. So find things that you can do where the time that you put in is not just going to pay you back immediately. It's not like, it's like the concept of the hamster wheel. If you're running in a hamster wheel, the second that you stop running, it stops spinning, and you haven't gotten anywhere. You know, that's what I find a lot of small business owners do. It's like they're in this fucking hamster wheel where they're not moving anywhere. They're running as fast as they can, and the second they stop running, the wheel stops spinning. Try to get out of the hamster wheel. What work can you do that is going to affect you not just now, but into the future? Like, again, if I do the work of putting those chips in the site, that work of taking pictures and cataloging and saying what board it's compatible with sucks. But I do that work once. After I've done that work once, it profits from now into eternity. Assuming people buy. But start categorizing your work by stuff that only has an immediate return with nothing later, and stuff that has a recurring return. A recurring return versus immediate return is what I'd say. Wow, we're dropping frames at 4 megabit per second. Go Time Warner. I'll be right back. I got to see what that person was on about. I can't help myself. Sorry. So yeah, so
1.5. Jesus. Jesus Christ. Let's open up. Let's open. Holy crap. Wow. Wow. What a scammer. The person that never finished paying me for the IT work that I just talked about sold that business to somebody else for over $1 million. Okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. What's wrong with this one? Let's see, what do you do? Okay, you have a Haswell CPU, so let me guess. You're going to have a dead CPU. Oh, wait. Here we go. The fans actually spin. It turns on, but... Holy shit. Oh, this is just an LCD connector. Well, I guess that's all you get today, is an LCD connector. That's all you get. Wow. I'm chasing down that person. I got somebody to chase down. Crazy that Time Warner has a monopoly in a city like that. I feel your pain. Yep. Thank you, government. Thank you, government, for limiting the amount of people that could run wires. So nice of you. Taxation is theft. Correct. Check your email, Lewis. I can't check my email. I'm busy right now. This is the deal of a lifetime. Oh, that's how I know that I'm going to delete it as soon as I see it. When are you going to sell the Zalmar? The Zalmar PGA rework station and get yourself some desk real estate back? One of these days. Take my South American money. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Yeah. Yawn. FDA works thanks to taxes. Is that theft too? Anytime you take people's money and the alternative to not taking their money is that they end up in jail or beaten with a baton on their way to jail, I would say that that is theft, yes. Imagine, okay, my store has a basement, right? So let's say that I take you and I toss you in my basement and I tie you up and I lock the basement door. In my basement, there's a burrito and some Snapple carrot juice, right? And I leave you there for 5 days, and you make your way over to the burrito and you eat it. Am I then allowed to bill you for that burrito? It would be considered silly that I bill you for the burrito since I kidnapped you into my basement and left you there, tied up, locked in my basement with nothing but a burrito and a carrot juice. I don't think anybody would say that, you know, that you owe me for the burrito or the carrot juice, because it was never your choice to be down there to begin with. I kind of, you know, fucking tossed you down there. Now, let's say that I bill you for the burrito and the carrot juice, and then I give that money to a children's shelter. Still fucking theft. Still fucking theft. Just because you do something with it doesn't make it any less theft. Have you heard about Donald Trump not allowing transgenders in the U.S. military? What are your thoughts? I'm very conflicted on that. Like, on one hand, if there are transgender people that are really good at shooting and sniping and bombing and driving tanks and all that shit, like, by all means, I don't care. Be a tranny, be whatever the identify as whatever the fuck you identify as, so long as you also identify as a good pilot and a good, you know, good gunman or whatever. But the area where I'm conflicted is the whole area of, like, who pays for the surgeries and all that. I mean, like, the military paying for gender reassignment surgery and stuff like that, that's, yeah, no. Like, I don't care who you are, what you identify as. Do whatever the fuck you please, so long as A, you don't harm me, and B, you don't ask me to pay for it. Do whatever the hell you want, just don't harm me, and don't take my money if I don't want to give you my money. Like, I'm a very simple man. It doesn't take much to make me happy. Watching this with ad block is theft. Yes and no. You can't steal intellectual property. Don't get me wrong, I'll shame you. But you can't really steal. Like, copyright infringement is not theft, it's copyright infringement. One thing that killed me with the music industry, I get where they were coming from in a lot of senses, but you can't really use the word steal for intellectual property, because you can't fucking steal that. It's like, it's not like you don't have it anymore. The concept of property is very different there. This is very sticky. When using the ultrasonic cleaner, do you change the water every board? No, I change it once it looks nasty, and that changes based on the boards that I put into it. Who cares what gender you are unless you try to enter a gender-specific competition? Yeah, that's another one that triggers me, is when, again, like this, like seeing Fallon Fox like break people's eye sockets, like that just fucks me up on like when I see that. It's, like, watching a guy beat up a girl professionally as a sport, that hurts me inside. Like, that hurts me inside. But the whole military thing, the only area where I can possibly imagine giving a shit about it as a private citizen is the whole who pays for the reassignment surgery. I don't really feel like paying for somebody's reassignment surgery. I respect your right to identify as whatever the hell you want to be. I don't care. Live your life, enjoy your life, be happy. I mean that. Just don't ask me to pay for it. And that has to go both ways. So I won't ask you to pay for my life, and I will prefer that you not ask me to pay for yours. But I don't know all the intricacies of how that works in the military medical system. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough yet. I've been buried under piles of laptops and other crap while everybody was on vacation. So I haven't had the time to keep up on my news like I like to. So I'm not going to claim to know what I don't. My job is actually at an authorized service center, but what you're doing is on a different level. It inspires me. What are you talking about? I haven't fixed shit. Your attitude is awesome. Don't change. Thank you. But yeah, I totally haven't fixed anything today. Damn, this is kind of stuck in there. Oh, just sticky liquid. Sticky liquid. And food. Ew, food. Yeah, but if the military was set up in a way where gender reassignment surgery fell under the military's costs, I don't know. It's hard for me to agree with that. I personally don't give a fuck what you are or who you identify as long as you do your damn job. And I'm sure there's a lot of transgendered people and people in the LGBTQ community that could, like, cut me to pieces without even looking. Like, just walk in the room and I'm just dead 2 seconds later. I'm not going to pretend that, you know, I'm tougher or anything because I was born a man. I'm sure they do a good job. It's just, I don't... Okay, what do we have here? All right, so all you get today is a stream of a shitty LCD connector. And you're just going to have to deal with that shitty stream of nothing but a boring-ass LCD connector. Because that's all I have here to do. It's like one of those things where it's hard to have an opinion on it because there are so many aspects to it. Like, for example, the Paris Climate Accord. There was a lot of that I was like, okay, that's fine. Check. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. And then we got to that green fund shit where it's like, we're really vaguely going to give away billions of dollars to third world countries without really specifying exactly how that's going to get used. And it's like, no. Step back. No. Read that point again? Yeah, we're going to give billions of dollars. No. Just no. No. And then I say I don't like it, and then people say I'm a client, that I hate the environment. It's like, what? Why? Why did you have to lump in this shit with all of this shit? Pisses me off. I don't want to give billions of dollars to other people. No. Lewis is watching your videos with AdBlock. Fair for you? What's your opinion? It really, I don't think about it right now in terms of fair or not fair. I just think about it in terms of what I'm going to do with it. So, for example, if I log into YouTube stats and I see that like 15 to 25% of my audience doesn't use AdBlock, you're going to have my nasty-looking desk, my shitty camera, and my unscripted, unplanned video. If I log into YouTube Analytics and I see that 90% of my viewers are watching monetized stuff and not using AdBlock, I might just take a half hour before my stream to script everything so that all the boards are like lined up with their exact faults and what's going to make a good video. And I may hire a camera person, and I may like put a YouTube banner up, and I may do the videos on shit that I wanted to do, like I wanted to compare the Moto G to the Samsung S7. I wanted to do a video on like comparing the $170 phone to a $600 phone with like GPS, like how fast does the GPS react? How does it sound in terms of the microphone with no noise? How does it sound with the microphone right next to a construction site, and record them side by side? Like, I would do all that cool. So to me, it's not really about fair or unfair. It's just, you know, about it's about what I'm willing to, what effort I'm willing to put in. I don't particularly care. I'm not going to say, how dare you watch, how dare you not watch, I mean, how dare you watch it with AdBlock on, you asshole. That's, how dare you? I'm not going to do that. It's just, I'm going to put in the effort that I see is worthwhile. I'd still do these videos if I wasn't making money from them. It's just, I would do them less often with less care. Like people say, how do you only do it for the money? It's like, no, I would have still done them. It's just right now I have like 10 playlists, so I have them organized. For example, there's, you know, missing PM sleep S4L. There's, you know, there's a missing charging green light. There's when charger green light is blinking. Like, I've got all these different playlists, and yeah, part of it is, hey, I got paid $200 from YouTube this month. Let me take 20 minutes of my time and sit down and like organize it. And then when I got paid more, it's like, hey, how about get rid of the camera, like the $100 JVC camcorder that's pointed at the board and buy a fucking microscope cam, you know? So it's not like fair versus unfair. I'm not gonna like go on about it. But I put in the effort that other people put in, if that makes any sense. Like right now I see this as a hobby, and I kind of treat it like a hobby that gives me some side money, and fuck, I almost knocked off a capacitor. I've been trying to treat it a little bit more like a quote job lately. Today of course the one day I didn't treat it like a job is the one day that I had a bunch of shitboards to work on. Stuff that already fucking worked that would have made a terrible stream. But once I'm all caught up, we're going to make some time to... Let me just slide this back into place. We're going to make some time to do those types of videos again. Come on, you little bastard capacitor. Alright. Come on. Clean this all up. And put a new connector. Yawn, this is so boring. One connector in an hour and 1 minute. What are your thoughts on the $80 million spent on Viagra by the military? That's another waste, in my opinion. And firstly, I don't know if that's true because I'm reading it off of a YouTube live chat. It's something for me to Google later. I'm not really saying, that's the thing, it's like, just because one waste of money exists does not mean that I wish to add more, nor am I saying that one of them is right. Now, if anything, one of the good things about this is that all the people who were bitching about having to pay for this and this types of surgeries, they may... You know, that may bring to light that the military spends $80 million on Viagra. That may have not come to light earlier. Insurance should not cover any kind of non-medically relevant procedure. Well, while I agree with the premise, Razor, the problem is that when you say relevant, or medically relevant, that can be a subjective term. Some people are going to find a way to claim that procedures that we may not think are medically relevant are medically relevant. So there's a subjective nature to that, which is part of the problem. And that's what I was talking about when I was joking a few months ago about lactating rooms and my new labor poster that highly suggests I get a lactating room if it's not too inconvenient or overly expensive. Who defines overly expensive? I know somebody that has, or inconvenient, you know, I know somebody that has 2 cats who has 2 litter boxes. I think that's fucking crazy. My cats share a litter box because I find having to pick 2 litter boxes inconvenient. They think it's just normal. I know that exact same person spends $40 a week on food, whereas on rare occasions I may walk into Whole Foods right after the gym. I don't have anything in my fridge. I see all the stuff out in the plates, and I spend damn near $37 on one fucking meal at the salad bar. And I don't think weird of it, whereas she would say that that's overly expensive. You know, you have to be careful when you get into these subjective terms because you never know how they are going to be used. All right, let's put in this boring connector and call it a day. Now, if you go into the Viagra thing, There's also the question of, I'm going to explore this. Let's say that we explore the Viagra, the Viagra angle here, right? You know, what are the chances that each military service member joining up is going to need Viagra? And how do you, you know, you can't really tell beforehand if someone is more likely or less likely to need Viagra immediately when you sign up. But you can tell if somebody's more or less likely to need gender reassignment surgery when they sign up, if they're, you know, transsexual. That brings up another thing. Would the military be less likely to bring you on if they knew that you would add to the Viagra expense? I don't know. There's a lot of talking points there. I would say we spent a ridiculous amount on all this crap already. Let's just stop the bleeding. Just stop the bleeding wherever we can. Like, there are some things that people just expect that we're probably not going to be able to change for a while. But we can, and that's going to be an uphill battle to change it. But at the very least, let's just stop the bleeding where we can. I think most people in chat can agree that the United States military spends a little bit too much as is. Like, you look at what every other country spends, and you look at what we spend, and maybe if you stop pissing every country off, you wouldn't have to spend so much in the fucking first place. But like, anytime somebody says, "But what about this spending?" It's like, yeah, but you're right. You're right. I don't like that spending. That's exactly why I don't want to add to it with more shit. That's exactly why I don't want to add to it. Like, imagine, how do I put this? Okay, this is the analogy I'm gonna use. I remember being over my cousin's house, and my cousin has one brother. He's just 2 children, and he asks for $5 so he can get something while they were outside. There was some ice cream truck or some shit, and they were selling something that was not an ice cream truck, but something. They were selling something, some kind of special type of cotton candy thing or something that was like $5. And she gives him $5, and then the other kid asks for $5, and she says no. And then she goes, "Why not? You gave him $5. And she goes, "I only had $5. You know, it's like, it may be unfair, but sometimes that's all you got. I'm not going to say I'm exactly happy with all the Viagra spending, but that doesn't mean I want to add to it with more spending either. It's just stop the bleeding. The U.S. military spends a lot of money as is. Just look at the military budget if you don't believe me. This tip is not fitting in there properly. This tip took too much Viagra. Fucker. Let's just clean this off a little bit. I'm so behind in chat, it's ridiculous. That's how they try to pass half the shit in Congress. They try to hide the bad with the good. Yes. I can't stand YouTube ads. Yeah, honestly, I can't either. That's why I got YouTube Red. I can't stand most of the... It's not even if the ad is a good ad. I mean, realistically speaking, I'm never going to buy something just because I see it in an ad. And it's one of those areas where I kind of wonder, like, how many people actually buy shit just because they see it in an ad? Because the moment I see an ad, I know that it's made by the company, so I immediately assume that it's biased bullshit, and, you know, just I don't trust it immediately. And I ignore it. It's like I know to tune it out. And I always wonder, does anybody listen to advertising of any type? Because I don't. So if I could pay to avoid ads, I would. I'm going to clean off this little connector. Catch my chat. Do you guys agree that trans should be able to serve or not? Yes or no? Long story short, yes, but only if they don't add new expenses to the existing insanely high military budget that the United States already has. I'm not going to pick and argue every single expense because I'll probably give you the same answer on most of them, that no, I don't really like all that spending either. But it's much harder, that's the thing, it's much harder to stop what is already in motion. It's easy to stop something that has not occurred. It's like it's easy, once people get used to shit, you can't really like take it away from them. But if they're not used to it and they don't have it already, then it's easy to say no, but you can't say no after you've already said yes, if that makes any sense. I have ad block on my Samsung phone for the Samsung browser. You are a fucking savage. You are a savage. All right. I am not getting paid to watch ads. Let's see. Would the surgery even be worth it? The key reason I hear is to no longer live a lie, but wouldn't it just become a more elaborate lie? Judging yourself by how others judge you seems like the better reason. Again, I don't care. It's not something I think about because I don't even care. If they're willing to pay for it, I don't care. I'm not a tranny. I don't understand what it is to be a transsexual. I can't even become close to answering that question. So to give that an answer to that would just be kind of fucking silly of me. And if somebody chooses to pay for their own gender reassignment surgery, live a nice, happy life, I don't care. It's only when it's about whether or not Lewis is going to start paying for your assignment surgery that I will care. Okay. Let's see if we got a light on the screen. I will read your comments to see how many new people have unsubscribed and now hate me, and we'll go from there. And I'll get to my other stack of stuff that I have to do that's not going to be fun to stream. Raping the pads. Yep, that's what we do with WIC. Taxation. Taxation is theft. We've been over this already. Yes, it is. It sure is. I'm personally really supportive of LGBT, but it really annoys me when they accuse you of having a go at their sexuality or gender when you haven't even brought it up. Yeah, I try to avoid people that do that. Again, every single one of the transsexual or transgendered people that I've met has always been very nice, kind, accommodating, nice human beings. And I'm sure, just like with all groups of human beings, that there are a lot of pieces of crap in that group as well. And so far, I haven't really met a lot, or at the very least, if I have, I don't have any memories of the experience. So I have nothing bad to say at the moment. But I'm sure there... Oh my god, who tried to plug this in before? What the fuck did you do to my little connector? Oh, you bastard. What did you do to my little LCD cable? What is this fucking... Oh, this is super glue. Oh my god, you tried to super glue this, you fuckface. See? Like, normal people can do stupid shit like super glue connectors as well. Wait, that means I assume the person's giant... Oh, crap. Tumblr's gonna piss me... Tumblr's gonna get me now. Tumblr's gonna get me now. You assumed that MacBook's gender. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. But in all seriousness, I really haven't met I can't remember meeting any asshole transgendered people. Come on. You bastard. You plugged in? Oh, joy. This is a really bad stream. All right. What did you do, dumb fuck? Did your charger die? Maybe. Let's try knock off. Take out the meter. So all the things I planned to fix already worked, and the one thing that I fixed actually worked before I fixed it and now doesn't. That's a stream. That's a stream. All right. You know an easy way to desolder pinhead arrows and microcontrollers without fancy equipment? Paint stripper. Yep, that's a great answer right there. Paint stripper. All right, let's see. Is PP3V42 here? It is not. Is DCN here? It is 0.1 volts. Wait, no, it's PP3. What is on the charger? 0. 0. 0. Did my charger die? Did you die, you bastard? Oh shit, I almost spilled my carrot juice off my desk. Let's see, you're this one over here, right? Okay. Okay. Ooh, and my charger smells funny too. Joy. Take 2. Really? Okay, unplug LCD cable. Let's see, DC infuse. What's up with my DC infuse? Meter is still on the screen now, isn't it? Too political for you today, I'm gonna turn you off. Bye-bye. You won't be missed. Zero volts. Well, that's dumb. I think my charger just died. You can steal Jason's charger. He won't notice. He won't notice. I could always blame somebody else later. I've been binge watching your content for the last week and love all the topics you cover and the way you present them. Keep up the good work, from Budgie RC. Thank you. Let's see. 80 million for Viagra. Do you mean the VA? The military budget and the VA are cropped together. They aren't giving soldiers Viagra on the battlefields. I figured. Maybe the VA gives soldiers Viagra so they have something to do for the 8 years while they're waiting in line. The VA is so fucked. I feel so bad for the people that actually serve that get screwed by the VA. The system is really messed up at the moment. Like, if you want to see what it looks like when government runs healthcare, look at the VA. It's crazy. Okay, really now? Seriously? You're this much of a troll? Let's see. Tell me you're this much of a troll. The pie charts that compare how much money goes into the military compared to other countries are insane. I agree. Did you clean your boards after finishing if you don't have an ultrasonic bath? I don't know. Lick them dry? No, don't actually do that. I'm kidding. Don't sue me. Let's... Lame. What a steaming pile of shitboard. Okay, so 3 volts on the DC infuse. 3 volts is not the 18 that I'm expecting. Wait, 3 volts on one side and 0 on the other. Are you telling me the DC infuse died while I was doing this? Are you fucking kidding me? The same fuse that doesn't die when they get liquid on them, when connectors are burned, just died now? No way in hell. No, I don't buy it. Fake news. Let's see. Holy crap, my DC infuse fucking died. 55 million ohms. Okay. The first time for everything, I suppose. Wow, what a bad stream. An awful day and a bad stream. The DC infuse and the 12-inch MacBook are the 15 fucking chips that are powered off of PP3v3. We're going to go over that in another stream someday. How the 12-inch MacBook handles a knockoff charger is truly fucking astounding. Like, the amount of chips that die on that piece of crap when you plug in a knockoff charger. Ooh. Talking about money, do we really need to spend billions going to Mars? Yeah, I was pissed off when Trump signed a lot of the NASA stuff as well. I mean, here's the thing: if Jeff Bezos wants to go to if Jeff Bezos wants to explore space with his 90 billion or whatever, I wish Jeff Bezos the best of luck in space. I really do. You know, hopefully he doesn't take his affiliate program with him. But seriously, like if he wants to go to space, great. But like. But we don't like. How about you fix the problems in the United States before going to Mars? Maybe that's the government's plan. You know, once they fuck up the United States, they can all escape to Mars. So they're paying for it now, ahead of time. Maybe that's the plan, and I just don't get it. And if that's the plan, then well, they tricked me. But it seems like a silly way to spend the money. All right. DC infused dies while replacing LCD connector. What a day. I'm not going to use hot air here because we're right next to that very plastic DC board connector. That is so crooked. Please check for bridge pins in the LCD connector. The pins that I bridged are probably the last 3 which are allowed to be bridged. That fuse is as crooked as our last Democratic candidate. What the hell? Put on straight and push down. And the other side. I don't need no soldering tweezers. How many people are working in Roseman Repair? What's Roseman Repair? Is that like rose gold? Is that like rose gold? I hate the release of rose gold products because it's kind of... ever since rose gold came out as a MacBook color, people have been calling me Roseman instead of Rossman. And we get a light. Isn't that beautiful? Now we check the pins in the LCD connector, and holy crap, you're right. I bridged shit. I did. You're right. My bad. Whoopsie. We're not bridged anymore. And now we get the moment of truth. Do we get shit on the screen or no? Do we get a light? I sincerely hope that we do. And I can end this bastardization of a stream. This has been one fail of a stream. Frame dropping. Indeed it is. Okay, we turn it on, and let's see if there's a light on that apple. And the apple just lit up, which means that I'm gonna be out of here. I've got to prepare these better for later. How much out of all your taxes do you think goes towards welfare? It's not always about the amount of taxes that go towards it. It's about the money that the government can also print to put towards it, which you don't always see. You don't always see that because it's not directly taken from you. It's taken from you in terms of your money being worth less later. Tricky questions, tricky questions. More than 0 is too much. Superglue means bottom of the pile. Oh, look, someone asked the same question 3 different times. Bye. Bye-bye, please, bro. Do you fix police scanners? No. Do any of your customers watch your videos finding their own machines in there? Maybe. Hopefully not. I like this guy's videos, but he seems naive when it comes to taxes. I don't see an argument. That is a statement without an argument. Oh, you posted the same thing 6 times. I find that answer very obscure. The last time I read it was something around 600 to 700 billion for Medicaid and something around 1 to 300 billion for food stamps and welfare, approximately. Either way, a number above 0 is too much. I find the answer obscure. I find you copying and pasting the same question 8 times is actually quite annoying. My argument is in relation to your... But that's not an argument. Saying, like, this is a naive position because X is true. Here's Y document showing this to be true. This is why I think what you said is wrong. Versus, I don't like what you said. Like, you see how there's differences in things? I'm sending a Bose to you. Oh, God, no. Bose makes some of the worst audio gear on planet Earth. One more bridge on the connector. No way in hell. I can't possibly have screwed up that many times. Well, what are your thoughts on welfare? It's just another form of theft. Well, fuck me. I am Jesus Christ. That is a lot of bridging on a connector, which is pretty lame since it's all I've done for an hour and a half. Let's see. So there are 2 problems with welfare in general. The first problem is that taxation only represents a portion of what is created. It's the same as war. Like, your taxes don't pay for war all the time. What pays for for many of these programs is government money printing. So for example, let's just take, let me see. Let's take something like the Iraq War, right? Let's just take the Iraq War. Now, if George Bush had to knock on your door and say, this year you're going to pay an extra $10,000 in taxes for this war, do you still want to do it? A lot of those people with the freedom isn't free bumper stickers, they would have said, you know what, let's just tear those off and talk to some of those protesters and see what they have to say, because they would be directly paying for it. You don't always get to see, when you look at your tax bill, like, when people say what percentage of your taxes pay for something, there's a small, and I'm not saying you're being disingenuous, I'm not saying you specifically, but there's something about that statement that lacks what's the word I'm looking for? There's something about that statement that's kind of shady, because people think that taxes are one of the primary ways that government pays for everything. And there's a lot of let's just print money for things that goes on. And again, for every dollar the government prints, what you have is worth less. So if George W. Bush had to knock on everybody's door and say, I need $10,000 extra this year to pay for the war, pay up, there would have been a lot of hashtag resisting going on. But because he didn't do that, people didn't really care so much because there was no immediate effect to them, which now obviously there was a terrible effect years down the line, when the results of those money, when you get to see the results of all that government money printing. But it's not immediate. And because it's not immediate, it kind of keeps people from feeling the way that they probably should feel about many of these things. The second issue that I have with it is that what happens is that the second issue that I have is, thanks for making videos, thank you to Nafin. The second issue that I have is that you're never going to see how do I put this? I'm trying to find a way to put this. Okay, so as I've said on this channel, I'm not going to say exactly which agency or exactly time frames. Let's just say that I have a lot of experience with being investigated or audited by specific branches of government. And when, let's say they say, we think you did this in 2011, and I say, no, here's paper saying I didn't. And they say, oh, yes, you did. Here's 74,000 pages, or so, whatever, how many pages of fucking laws that we need you to prove to us how you complied with. I need to then pay an attorney thousands and thousands of dollars in order to comply with that. And then I have to pay them whatever it is they think that I owe that I don't actually owe, instead of the original bullshit number that they think I owe and all this, that, and the other. What you never get to see is what could have been done with that money. So you see what the government did with the money that I paid them. But what you don't see is what I would have done with that money if it stayed in my pocket rather than being given away. Would I be sitting here right now with 4 employees? Would I have 50 employees? Would I have 100 employees? Would I have 500 employees? Would I have somebody to sit behind the camera and make sure the videos look nice and edited and prim and proper and would I be selling 60 different chipsets behind me? Or would I be selling 10,000 different chipsets behind me? I don't know. I'll never know. I'll never know what I could have done. I'll never know what opportunities I may have went for based on the money that I would have had at the time that I don't have because I gave it up. And that's something that you're never going to be able to measure. You'll never be able to measure what could have been. And that's one of the primary things that I dislike about wealth redistribution and taxation. Because you're not going to see the direct results of that which never happened. And I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what could have been, because frankly, I can't do shit about what could have been. I can only think about what I can think about in the moment. I can't spend time thinking about what I could have done or should have done, or because if you do that, you just lose your fucking mind. But the reality is that when you see that there's 2 people in a family that because of welfare are now supported and are making just enough to get by rather than live on the street. But what you don't see is that if all these companies had more money, and all those companies kept that money in the bank, that bank may have been slightly more willing to loan money to a business owner that then may have been willing to hire that person at a job at $80,000. But you don't see that. You just see the $10,000 or $15,000 stipend they get, and then being in the government subsidized housing. Makes me sad. Makes me sad. That's all. Let's see, what else do we got here? Government doesn't print money, the Federal Reserve does. Yeah, but I mean, you have to think about who influences that. Let me give you a hint. It's not us. Let's see. Bose isn't really good. Bose is shit. No, Bose is shit. For any amount of money that you spend on Bose, you could spend that money on anything else and get a better product. If you think Bose is good, you can go to any other brand, spend 50% as much money, and get the exact same sounds, if not better. Sennheiser, Grado, Axiom Audio. Axiom. Axiom is a great company. It's like, Axiom kind of sounds like Paradigm, except at 30% the price. Good stuff. What about the orphan disabled? Well, what about the orphaned and disabled? I mean, there's this whole idea that the only way to get money for the orphaned and disabled is to have government say, you are going to give these people money or I'm going to take out a baton. And the reason I keep saying the word baton is because if I didn't hire an attorney and I didn't fight back when I was told you need to pay this ridiculous bill, and in reality all I owed was this much. What was I? Oh, if I didn't pay, then the police come to get you. When they come to get you, if you don't pay, well, you see, ever see the Shawshank Redemption? Remember that scene where there was the sisters, and like the sister comes back to his cell after being in the hole for a week or something like that, and then the guy just takes the baton and like just fucking like slams him right in the abdomen. It's like there are better ways in society than violence to create these types of charities. And and you've seen what a lot of charities are able to do. You know, you don't have to use violence to get what you want. It's just not a great way. And when you get rid of the violence, you'll see that there are better and other ways to get things done that don't require constant violence. Forgot about Beats. Yeah, Beats and Bose, same category to me. Overpriced, over-advertised, under-researched shit. Shit. Private bank, Federal Reserve prints it, and the government borrows it on interest. And who has to pay it back? So Jess is blowing hot air. If anybody wants to see Jess's hot air stream, that is on. Oh, crap. This YouTube chat app really sucks. As I'm scrolling, it automatically takes me to the end of the stream. Let's see. So he's saying, and this is a good example. I'm pointing this one out because this is what we call a straw man. So when you say X and somebody says, "Did you say Y?" So let's read this. So he's saying, as I get it, if you can work, all good. If you can't, fuck you, be homeless. This is an example. I wish I could pin comments in a stream because this is like straw man 101 right here. No, I never said that. Advocating that paying to help the needy does not need to be done at the point of a gun or a baton or by an entity that just has no motivation to ever see you do better. I'm saying that there's a better system than that we can have. So let's get rid of the crappy system that doesn't work and put one in that does. But some reason, like people, when you say that, people always hear on the other end, what they do is they take what you said, they cross it out, they write their own like sky is falling thing in, and then they say, "Did you say the sky is falling?" It's like, no, I didn't. Those Rotel power amp on your last video, that's a good amp. The RB 1090, hell no, I'm not selling that amplifier. That amp is awesome. I love that amplifier. Not getting rid of that. Serve run by the Rothschilds. Don't get me started. Let's see. Alex Jones version 2. Yes, it is us. What? What? You just call me Alex Jones? Oh, man. All right, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Oh, man. You are anti-people. No, I'm pro-people. You don't understand. I believe in a world where the charities actually give a flying fuck about you. How many times how many times do you have a representative from government who works with the welfare office knock on your door and say, "How's it going this week? What did you learn? What are you working on learning? Have you looked for a job? Are you thinking about getting into this new... Or, hey, this is a great thing that I think you'd be good for because I know who you are, I know your talents, I know your interests. You should apply here." How often does that actually happen? I mean, you have to think about the motivations. So when it comes to, let's say, private charity or a government charity. So the government, they don't have to care if you ever get a job. And this is one of the other issues that I have when it comes to terms. People think that really short terms in government are great because if you do something wrong, you get voted out, or that, you know, this way you don't have a dictator. But the reality is that if you're only going to be in office for these 2 or these 4-year terms, or these whatever amount of time it is, you can do really You can do some serious fucking damage and not have to give a shit, because by the time people start paying for it, you're gone. It's like, poof, they disappear. It's now somebody else's problem. It's pushed off to the next generation. So, like with a private charity, let's say I'm running a charity, right? And let's say I want to get your money. You're donating to the charity because you want to see me do good things with it. So I'm going to spend that money helping people. Now, if I just sprinkle that money around willy-nilly and I don't help anybody, and the people I give money to are, you know, just fucked up out of their mind, and they don't get any direction, they don't get any motivation, they don't get any mentorship, and they wind up not doing better at all, nobody's ever going to want to give to my charity again, because what I've done is I've done nothing. I am accountable to those people. So I need to show them that, hey, the money you donated to my charity is actually being used for something good. If you gave me money for my charity, and I wound up giving money to this worker that I had 6 years ago that was a cocaine addict, and I never checked in on him to say, hey, you off that cocaine? People would probably not give it to my charity anymore. So I'm kind of accountable. I have a motivation to make sure that people get better, that they do better, that they accomplish better. Now, if you're in government, you don't really particularly care if the people do better. If they do better, it doesn't matter to you. You're going to get that money via taxation, and you're going to get that money via Federal Reserve and everything anyway. It's going to be there. You're not accountable to show that it went to a good place. You don't have that motivation to care about the outcomes of the lives of the people. I actually want to help people. You know, there are people that I know that have helped me throughout life, and sometimes they've had a really good idea and they were down in the luck, and I've said it on stream. Here's $10,000, here's $7,000, here's $13,000. Hey, don't pay me back. I know you're going to do good things with it. And then I'll check in on them every now and then, and I'll see how they're doing. Or even this, you know, like granted, this stream sucked, but the other 200 videos that I've done, you know, I mean, the first year that I did YouTube, I made something like, what, like $800 the first year? I mean, I make that doing 2 fucking board repairs. I don't need to do that. I do that because I want to see people do better. I really want to see people find a way to get out of their crap living situation and improve their lives. I want to see people do better. But the people in government that create welfare, they don't have any reason to care. What they do is they say, we are going to take other people's money and we're going to give it to you if you vote for us. And when they get the vote, that's it. Their motivation is not seeing you do better as a human being. Their motivation is not seeing you get a job. Their motivation is not seeing you enjoy your life. They don't care. All they want is a fucking vote. So they will say whatever they have to say to get you to vote for them. And if that means saying, hey, let's take all those people's money and give it to us, they'll say that we'll do that. If that means, hey, let's put the future kids in debt or your grandkids in debt that they'll never pay back, they'll fucking do that. Their motivation in government is to say whatever the fuck it is that's going to make you feel good in the moment so that you check them off on the ballot. I care about people, which is more than can be said for government. And a lot of the people that say, Lewis, you don't care about people, A, they're the people that, frankly, let's just be honest, they've never went up to a friend and said, here's $10,000, don't pay me back. B, they've never spent a lot of time putting up content designed to help people make a living for themselves and make more money. And C, they probably don't live in neighborhoods that are completely, how do I put this, savaged by welfare. I live in one of those neighborhoods where, like, to my left, a bunch of subsidized housing and people on welfare. To my right, a lot of subsidized housing and people on welfare. Across the street, I see it. I used to live on right across the street around Marcy and Park from the Marcy housing projects, and I wasn't one of those people that didn't talk to anybody. I walk around. I say hello to people regardless of whether or not they look like me. I sit on the stoop, and sometimes I drink on my stoop, and sometimes I drink with my neighbors. It's part of what I do at the end of a long day, and we talk. And I get to see firsthand what occurs. I get to see firsthand how all of this is. And I make enough money that I could easily move out of this neighborhood, but I moved there almost 10 years ago. This neighborhood is the neighborhood that got me, that made me feel independent. I like my apartment, and frankly, I don't want to fucking leave. So I could easily afford to live in a much nicer neighborhood than where I live now. I choose not to. I like where I live. 15 minutes from work. I know my neighbors. I like my apartment. I can get a burrito that tastes good a few blocks away. I know where the liquor store is. The person at the liquor store knows my name. It's like, I like my neighborhood. But at the same time, I get to see just how fucked a lot of this neighborhood is because the people who are just sprinkling money around willy-nilly, all they give a fuck about is a vote. All they care about is a vote. They don't give a fuck if you learn a new skill. They don't give a fuck if you commit crime or not. They don't give a fuck what happens. They care about a vote. There's just no accountability whatsoever with that system, which is, anyway, I'm probably behind on comments by like 3 pages now, but let's see. And again, you're never going to see what that money could have been, what could have been done with that money if the people who got to keep that money instead of paying it in taxes got to spend it when they were directly accountable to the people who gave it to them, if that makes any sense. Are there any basic principles you need before you can start a board repair? Understand Ohm's law. Understand that what looks fucked up probably is what's fucked up. Be a detective. Try to find the string. So, for example, if you see something that's burned, what is that connected to? Did that thing get burned because it got burned? Did it get burned because the thing in front of it died and then caused the electricity to go through it? What you really have to do is you have to be a detective. Honestly, like learning to because everybody says, what basic electronics book do I read? If you're going to sit there and you're going to read about coulombs and all this other shit, and it's boring. And yeah, if you're designing something, if you're a physicist, probably you need to read about that. But for this, you really don't. You just need to understand how to be a good, detective. I would rather have somebody who is a detective on a police force with no electronics experience in this chair than someone who had an electronics engineering degree. I'm dead serious, because I've had people they're fucking 10 times smarter than me, definitely have a higher IQ, definitely know more about electronics, and they sit here and they can't follow shit because they don't have that detective's mindset. Detectives by far. All right, let's see. What do you think of the current state of AI and the advancements of computer-human mimicry? I am scared by it because I feel like they're going to be... Yeah, I'm kind of scared by it. I genuinely am. Because here's the thing. AI is being modeled after humans, and humans are some of the most fucked up species in the world. Like, we on a regular basis, kill our own. I don't even mean like, other tribes or other races. We regularly kill within our own peer groups. We do not, and we don't think twice. We start wars over almost nothing. We justify so much bad shit. I can't imagine modeling artificial intelligence after us and then making it able to learn where it's smarter and better, and we're all going to be fucked when that happens. Like, eventually they're going to take over, and I'm scared. But hopefully I'll be dead by then so that I can't get tortured by an AI robot of myself. Does Clinton Foundation count as a charity? Oh, man. Yeah. No. I'm a new viewer just trying to understand what you say. I understand. Maybe it's just my pet peeve for strawmanning. I just have a pet peeve for strawmanning. It's just... Why did God have to make some of us disabled? And that's one of the... I don't believe in God, but if there was a God, I would have a lot to say to him. That probably would get me in trouble. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I appreciate you bringing it up, Faulkner. Hopefully I'm not saying your name wrong. But taxes is no way to choose what your money gets used for. I think it'd be more reasonable if there was a way to choose what percentage of your money gets used on what. I agree. Like, for example, if you think that money should have been given to moderate rebels, fine. Click the checkbox, pay for those taxes. I don't. I would rather not pay for that shit. But maybe... Oh, I'm so behind. So behind. Oh, jeez. God lets... Yeah, I agree with Chris Long. He says God lets children be raped. There is no God. If there is, he isn't all loving. Yeah. I mean... I say a lot about white knighting, but you know what? If you are all powerful, be a white knight every now and then. Like, you can stop it. You can stop a 4-year-old from getting raped. No, I know, free will, but no, no, no. If you're really there, stop the 4-year-old from getting raped. Stop, like, you know that woman that was just in the car the other day driving with the Snapchat who killed her sister? You could stop that. You could stop a lot of that shit. No, I don't buy it. I don't think there is one, and if there is one, he's not as nice. He's not as nice as people make him out to be. Or her. Tori Amos thinks God is a woman. Woman or man, still kind of an asshole. What you fixing today, Lewis? Absolutely nothing, because I didn't prepare my stream. I'm sorry. I usually prepare my stream. I usually take all the machines out of the slots. I take a few measurements. I cherry pick the few that have a good story, and then I do my video. So it seems to flow like I never touched it. It seems to flow perfectly, and it's spontaneous, and it's interesting, and there's a story that you can learn from. And today, I fucked up, so that's all you get. Lewis, are you a MGTOW? No. Men going their own way, and I feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, because I probably can be. What the impression I get from men going their own way is that even if the perfect opportunity with a great woman came up, they would say no, because they're too busy working on themselves to bother with it. It's so men going their own way to me seems like a strike. And I understand why a lot of men would want to go on strike, but I'm not on strike. Rather, I'm more of a, when the great opportunity comes up, I will take it, but I am not going to like waste 3 hours a day like swimming through all the people out there and like tossing myself at their I'm not going to toss myself at the altar of fourth wave feminism in New York City to get a date. I don't know, you know. Like again, when the right person comes along, I will give them all the time of day. But I'm just, yeah. Your camera is not focusing on you clearly. Lies! I have face focus on. I have a little red square around my face to prove it. So I would say I'm not MGTOW, to the disappointment of many that keep commenting asking, because I just feel like that's a strike. For me, it's not a strike. It's just I'm busy working on things that matter to me. If somebody shows that they're worthwhile, I'll invest time in, but I'm not like going out there. Like every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every night you see all these men that are just, they're wasting hundreds of dollars and hours of time on people that they barely know. I don't know. I think a lot of people are like that. It's not even just a MGTOW thing. It's just you know, like it's not even just with men, with women. It's with men as well. Are you worth me stopping what it is I'm working on to spend time with? Some people are. A lot of people aren't. Are you a fan of grilled cheese? No, I think grilled cheese is a waste of calories. All right, what the fuck is MGTOW? There's a purpose for every, oh God. Chris says there's no God because my SD-RAM surgery today failed with a 1v2 short. Why, God, why? And there we are in complete agreement, Chris Long. Please stop being primitive and blaming God for your poor choice. You work on 90s computers for a living? No, because I want to feed myself. What do you think of the West lowering sperm count? The same that I think of the West lowering testosterone. Scary. Plenty of tasty vegan things to eat. Why waste time on vegan cheese? Vegan cheese is disgusting. Cheese is boring, but vegan cheese is a fucking science experiment that has not been successful. Dude, I make $60K a year fixing 90s computers, government work. I don't want to work for the government. You might have gotten that impression by now, but you may, just for those who are not aware, I would prefer not to work for the government for any amount of fucking money. All right. Time. Never heard of the MGTOW term either before now. What do you think of Trump banning trans in the army? You know what? I gave my thoughts on that earlier, but I don't have a timestamp for it. How about this? I'm going to ask something that I usually don't ask. If anybody actually gets timestamps for these random little rants, like rant on welfare, rant on taxes, rant on what trans in the military, can you put timestamps in the comment? Like, I'll give you a star and a like and a hug. Maybe I'll, I don't know. Well, it would be nice. That would be very, very Christian of you if somebody could do that, because I don't have timestamps for it. I keep saying I'm going to do timestamps, and I keep forgetting to do timestamps. I suck. Suck at this whole YouTube thing. Ah, well. So that's it. I'm going to try to do another stream before I have my advertiser-friendly meeting with the YouTube representative. I can't wait to have that. I'm debating recording this presentation. I mean, do any of you want to see what the YouTube advertiser-friendliness presentation is? I'm really curious. Like, I'm wondering, am I actually going to be able to sit through this meeting without laughing hysterically? How many times am I going to have to hit mute on my phone to not laugh hysterically during the advertiser friendliness presentation? Because I want to make sure that I make nice advertiser friendly content. This is going to be good. Are you a Christian? No. I was born one, but not as an adult. No. Okay, I really do have to get out of here. Can people stop commenting? Are you lactose intolerant? I'm not a big fan. I drink milk that belongs to the animal it came from. I drink milk that belongs to my species only. I'm not interested in cow milk. Let's see. I always hated milk as a kid, too. Luckily, it wasn't like something I had to give up that was terrible. All right. I want to see the ad-friendly presentation. I want to see it. I feel friendlier already. Record it. Okay. I'm going to get kicked off of YouTube for that. I'm going to get kicked off YouTube for that. That's got to be in the terms of service. Like step 1, terms of service. Do not record meeting with YouTube partner manager on advertiser friendliness. But man, that would be fun. That would be fun. That would be fun. How much time would it take to convert this into advertiser-friendly content? I've never seen a government ad on YouTube, so I think I'm safe there. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you if anybody actually puts timestamps on this. Much appreciated. Thanks for viewing, and as always, hope you learned something.